Yeah.
Okay, here we are.
All right. Welcome to the Hold My Spot podcast.
Wait.
Oh.
There we go. Now, please.
For all our ASMR-based listeners out there, welcome
To the Hold My Spot podcast.
I just paused for a second. I didn't know if you were going to interrupt me with other cans.
Oh, wait, do you want me to get yours for you, buddy?
Yeah, well, you know, why don't
all
you
right,
just...
Get it nice and close to the microphone.
Yeah, why don't you just make a meal of it while you're at it?
Hold on. Take a sip.
Kind of burn, actually. I felt a little strong. 7.7.
Oh boy, I didn't even realize that.
I knew it burnt.
This episode not brought to you by New Belgian IPA.
Yeah. I don't even know if we should name them until they
True.
send some cases our way.
You can buy us off with a couple cases of beer.
I love how this episode has started with
It has started terribly.
an unsettled, desperate plea for sponsorship.
For corpo sponsorship.
I thought this pre-episode conversation about your desperate plea for sponsorship was not going to bleed into our professional,ism, which is our utmost.
Yes. We have a mic stand that is a cardboard box.
I mean, they may not have pieced that together if you didn't say that.
That's true.
But
I had to say it.
It is a shoebox. It's not just any cardboard box.
That's true.
I don't know.
Perfect height.
Do you think that elevates or takes the
elevates the
respect
aspect of our equipment, right?
It's so DIY. It's so DIY.
So we're already off the rails, and we haven't even introduced ourselves.
Shall we welcome them to the Hold My Spot podcast?
I think we shall. Welcome to the Hold My Spot podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Ethan. Oh, wow.
We go to concerts, and we tell you all about them. Tonight, Ethan had a fantastic evening. He got
Interesting way to frame that.
Well, don't you think? I mean, this was your pick. Not that I minded, but this was... You've been amped up since June.
Is the insinuation that you did not have a fantastic time?
No, I did, but it was driven by your passion for this.
This is true.
Artist.
This is true. We are 2 in a row of concerts that I kind of just bought the tickets and decided we would sort it out later.
Wasted some tickets, bought some tickets.
Sometimes you forget. I was really confident over the summer when I bought these tickets. I really thought we might be able to encourage some others, but the key to that is you need to remember to encourage.
Yeah. Any of our valued listeners, if you ever just reach out to us and be like, hey, do you have an extra ticket to this show that's coming up? We probably do, and we just forget to ask people to go with us.
Yeah. Chances are it's yours.
And you could just honestly
yours.
have it.
So one lucky listener out there. It's yours.
Yeah.
You can have it.
So we'll know if people ask us if they actually listen to this podcast or not.
It's a test.
Yeah.
Everything's a test.
Everything is a test.
But yeah, this was the second concert that I have dragged Matt to, kicking.
Oh yeah,
and
wow. He had to go through all the motions. He had to, basically bribe me to go.
Yeah, man.
He had to go. This is what he had to do. He had to say, Matt, I want to go to this concert. Will you go with me?
It was exhausting to say that.
And
why does he make everything's a test?
Yeah, and basically I said, I don't know. Okay, sure, I'll go. Okay, fine, I'll go.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So anyway, after this long, boring interlude, what concert did we go see?
We went and saw my boy Petey tonight.
Yeah.
Your
second time.
My second time seeing
Petey.
Petey. Saw him in Grog Shop last holiday season in 2022.
Was that a year ago?
Almost like exactly a year ago.
Huh.
Maybe around early December. And it's pretty cool. If you're not familiar.
It's been a heck of a year for him.
Yeah, the Grog Shop probably could hold 200 people at the most, and it was pretty packed out that night in 2022. And here we are, November of 2023, and he's playing the House of Blues, which can fit at least 3 times as many people. There was definitely double,
Easily.
if not more, the people that I saw last year there tonight. So he's had a huge year, more exposure through his comedy sketches and Coachella.
Yeah, great
and
set at Coachella.
just getting added to additional festivals. And yeah, it's been really cool to see him go from like 50 to 60,000 monthly listeners on Spotify to I think over 300.
It was like 350.
Yeah, and
That's huge.
I expect the numbers to keep increasing. But yeah, that's who we saw tonight, and I've been looking forward to a while. I'm on a hot streak right now.
I would say you're warming up. I don't know if you're on the hot
No.
streak
You're,
yet.
you're, the hot streak I'm talking about is the hot streak of buying,
Oh,
of procuring
true.
band shirts. And this is now my second one in 4 days.
Yeah, that's true. It took a full year to get your second and third shirt.
Yeah, so like relative to like the last 31 years of my life, 2 and 4 days.
That's
a hot streak.
Yeah, that is a hot streak.
That is
you're
an
burning
undeniable
up.
hot streak.
You're burning up.
I'm sweating, but
Yeah.
you can't see it. Black shirt. There was I've seen gray shirts available at these shows. Who's doing that? You can't do that.
No.
I mean, you don't sweat? You don't have sweat glands?
You almost
You an
bought-
alien?
You almost bought a white shirt.
I did.
You like that design the best, but they were out of your size.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm happy with where things ended up. It's a bit
It's got the tour shirt.
a lot
here.
going on in the
Yeah,
back.
Yeah.
And I wasn't totally about that. I think we both agreed on that, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big tour shirt guy. I don't want to be, stuff on the front and stuff on the back,
Yeah. I like the
I like
sports
cool designs, and maybe a little subtle design, not really all in your face. Like, hey, I love this band. I was at this show. I like, a little under the radar.
Yeah. I like when it's just subtle enough to where they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
What are you wearing
And
there?
then they're like,
oh, this?
shit, you saw Petey. Oh, shit.
Coworkers don't say that.
No, coworkers don't. Not when you're on Zoom all day.
Most people just don't say that.
Do you even turn your camera on Zoom?
Though I did mention the hotelier on a work call the other day.
Yeah, people were like, who?
I teed it up. I was like, because, you mentioned things like, I went to a concert. And of course, the obligatory, who'd you see? And it's almost an infuriating question.
Everybody's like, oh, I bet he saw Taylor Swift.
I mean, I have, and I will again. But it's if someone asked me tomorrow who I saw, it's a tough thing. But I don't want to get into that.
Nobody knows.
I like obscure music. What are we?
That's why we're here.
That's why we're
to tell
here.
you about obscure music so that it's not so obscure anymore.
Hopefully. But yeah, we were at the House of Blues tonight and opening for Petey were North Americans.
North Americans.
This was an interesting opening choice
Very interesting.
because as they
choice.
acknowledged when they went out onto the stage,
Yeah.
very different sonically than Petey and his backing band. They were a ambient acoustic instrumental group.
Yeah.
And it was just 2 guys, one with an acoustic guitar
Yep.
and the other working a synth. He had a guitar as well.
Yeah.
But he was mostly just laying down some chords, some very like vibey ambient chords on the synth, and they just very much in a chill way rocked out for about 20 to 30 minutes.
Very chill way of rocking out.
Yeah, it was very like speakeasy, like let's just hang out
It was
and just
ambient.
take in the vibe.
People were still talking and hanging out with their friends while they were playing, and I think they were cool with that. I mean, they know what they are, right?
Yeah. Right, they're a tone setter.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Tone
I
setter
don't
might
even know
even be
if
the
they
word.
were.
Right.
I think Petey said he was amped up by them, like he liked their music and like it sets the tone, but they're so different than Petey.
Yeah, it sets a tone.
Yeah.
It's not the tone.
It's
though.
not
It's
the
It's
tone.
definitely a totally different tone
Yeah.
than Petey. Because if you've heard Petey's music, it's very much it's indie rock,
Yeah.
and he's heavily influenced.
Synth and pop elements.
Yeah, he's heavily influenced by like indie tronica of the 2000s and some alt rock as well of the 90s. So yeah, it's a pretty big tonal shift between North Americans and Petey. Not that it's a bad thing though. It's I don't know. We've seen it go different ways. Like we've been at shows over the last 12 months where we've seen bands choose openers that are very thematically, sonically consistent.
Yeah.
And then we've also seen it go in two different directions. Like the Gaslight Anthem concert's a great example where you had a ska band and then you had a Heartland rock band.
Right.
So I see that I enjoy both.
And on the same wavelength, when I saw the Wonder Years a few weeks ago, the Wonder Years said on stage, we purposely bring these bands to help them out. Like we want these bands to have a wider audience. So I think that's really cool too. There's like this mentor-mentee relationship with an established band that's been around for 15 or whatever years, and a new band that may be around for 3 to 5 years. I mean, I think that's really cool. And I don't think there's a lot of that going on in the industry where somebody will take another band under their wing or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, because sometimes bands will just combine powers and try to get the biggest gate possible.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's kind of why I'm always digging into new ways to find new music. And one suggestion I got is, well, look at the bands that open for the bands you like. It's like, that's a decent tactic to an extent. But in situations like this, where it's more so based on the relationship and maybe a mentoring situation, you're not going to find sonic consistency. You're going to find a relationship. So you might not find a new band that you like, but you're going to learn more about how these two bands are like part of a similar community.
Yeah.
And that was definitely the case with North Americans Tonight. But yeah, that was cool. The venue really started to fill out while they were playing.
Yeah, when we got there, it was pretty empty. I mean, we got there kind of early. It was like half an hour before.
We were kind of nerds about it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And then we got there early. We had a great spot, and then what did we do? We left that great spot.
We didn't hold our spot.
Yeah.
It was.
So then, when it was finally time for Petey, we go back up, and we're like, "Oh, there's other people here now."
A lot of them, all of them, every person that ever lived.
So we didn't
felt
get
like they were
anywhere
there.
near where we were before, but we still had a good spot. I mean, I was happy.
Yeah, and moves were made to get
I hover
closer.
in the background. I'm not a guy that needs to be right in the front and center or the pit like you.
You're not a pit leader.
I'm not a pit leader.
Maybe in your own. Well, we were talking about this earlier. How it's a second concert in a row. We've also went with my brother, and he's a little thrown back by Matt's observant nature.
Is he?
Is how I'll put it.
It's unsettling to him.
He didn't. No, these are words that you're putting in his mouth, and you made a good point. You're like, hey, you're just seeing what you see, but what's going on up here?
That's right.
You're just raging.
That's right.
It's just insane.
Well, I've had a couple bad experiences, right? I almost killed a girl once. We've talked about this before.
I didn't know you felt any guilt about that.
Not anymore.
I'm glad to know you feel.
And then, I was so winded at that last time that I actually moshed that I don't know. I felt bad about myself. So out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is a humbling experience.
So I'll just sit in the back, drink my vodka lemonade, keep that buzz going, and just enjoy myself. Keep it all up here.
There was a buzz going.
There was a great buzz going.
I will cop to that.
Not bad for a Wednesday.
Not bad at all. But yeah, Petey took the stage. He's playing in a traditional 4-piece backing band, and they played what did you say? It was an hour long.
It was
set?
pretty much like an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was by the time they were off, it was an hour and 15 minutes total because they did take a kind of a longer break between the encore. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was at least a full 10 minutes, I would think.
Yeah, they really teased us.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna make sure to have the set list to reference here because there's definitely some things that I want to call out here.
I do have to give you props because you called out what the first song was going to be.
Oh, it was a no-brainer.
It is. I mean, but at the same time, you still nailed it. I mean, you knew.
Yeah. So Petey is coming off of the release of his second studio album, USA, and second song of that album is "I'll Wait," which is what he opened with tonight.
Yep.
The
great song.
Opener.
I love that song.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I mean, that'll
opener.
bring you in. If you're kind of on the fence about Petey or you don't know Petey, listen to that song. It'll bring you to the party.
Yeah, I really quite enjoy that. It's actually the second song on USA. The first one is called Bags Theme, which comes from his Sketch World. It's just an instrumental that he created that plays in the background a lot of his sketches, which I can't recommend enough. Follow him on Instagram, follow him on TikTok. It's very absurdist humor.
Oh, it's hilarious.
If you're into any of that,
Dry, my favorite, like the driest of dry humor.
It's ridiculous.
And awkward, and it makes you feel kind of weird sometimes.
It'll make your dad's head explode.
Yeah.
It would make them punch a hole through a wall.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, then you'd be into this.
So we had a conversation on the way to the show about his sketch work, and I just sort of assumed it was just random and not really cohesive and not a lot of thought went into it. But you told me that it's very thoughtful, that he writes out everything, he has everything figured out, so he knows when the punchlines are going to happen. And to me, that makes it even better.
Yeah,
like,
A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah,
I heard that when he was on Mark Hoppus's radio show and they were talking about the creative process for his sketches, and he sits down and he writes it out. I don't know if it's word for word, but I used to think too, like maybe it was just some stream of consciousness, maybe he was riffing, but it's pretty well thought out stuff, which makes it all the more impressive to me because it's such it's so unconventional.
Yeah,
it's truly one of one.
Yeah, it is. And he's also he is the only one that is in his sketches.
Most of them, like he
plays multiple characters.
It's a Tyler Perry situation where he has multiple characters in these sketches. So he's just a real creative. Yeah. And it takes on so many forms other than just music. But I'll Wait was the opener. And then this is where he starts, the set list was very much a mix of songs off USA and songs off his first studio album, Lean Into Life. He did, I Tried to Draw a Straight Line second, he did Home Alone House, so all off the new album. And then he then went back to Lean Into Life with the title song, Lean Into Life, fourth, which was fun for us who had been there last year during that last tour. So it's nice to get a little bit mixed. And then he went further down that road with We Go on Walks and Microwave Dinner, Pitch a Fit. And then he went back to USA with Skip This One, which is just a hilarious song name. Yeah. Birds of a Feather.
Do not listen to this
Family
song.
of Six. I didn't even realize this. I'm dumb. He played a Fleetwood Mac cover?
Yeah.
I did not catch that.
I mean, it was sort of like mixed in with one of his other songs.
Oh, he mixed in with Family of Six. Yes. Family of Six is the one where he really drew it out.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not that long on the album.
It wasn't just like, hey, all right, we're going to play a Fleetwood Mac song. It wasn't like that. It was lyrics mixed into the melody of Family of Six.
That's very much Petey to be... He won't ever be super on the nose about something like that. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Is it... I mean, I'm just... Apologies. I'm not... I know the Fleetwood Mac like hits, but I was not going to catch that at all. And then the last two songs, and this is where he said to the crowd, "We got two more." Yeah. Then he did I Mention I'm Sorry, which was one of the 3 singles from USA, and then he finished off with The Freedom to F Off. I'm gonna believe myself there. And that's
better than the last episode where you just let those F words fly.
I was a loose cannon.
This is a family-friendly show, Ethan.
I know, it's for the kids.
Take it easy.
And the kids, they really are the future, guys. We really need to think about that more. But Freedom to F Off is that's a special song off USA. Lyrically, it just, I don't know. I know it resonates with me. My brother remarked without us even, he just brought it up out of nowhere. He's like, that Freedom, that song, that resonates. And I felt that in the crowd tonight. Oh, yeah. The thing about Petey is that his lyrics, he invites a lot of sing-along moments because he'll just be doing kind of like almost a talk singing.
Yeah.
And then he'll just scream. And it's nothing about it is classically trained singing. It's just it's something guttural that he's bringing up from like the stomach, from the heart, and it resonates with the crowd, and we sing along. And Freedom to F Off has tons of moments in that where we all screamed along. So I've rambled on long enough. You being someone who is a bit newer to Petey, walk me through your week of prep for Petey and then how that culminated with tonight.
Well, I didn't do a lot of prep, but we saw Hotelier and Foxing on Sunday. So I sort of, being kind of new to them, I had done some prep work ahead of time, and it wasn't really hitting. And then after I saw Hotelier and Foxing, when I listened to the Hotelier album, I'm like, oh man, banger, 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 banger. Like, for me, it makes a difference if the live show is good, and their live show was awesome. So it just made a much deeper connection for me between the album and the live show, and that they're a band, not just something you hear on the radio. So now I have a much bigger appreciation for Hotelier. But after that show, and I listened to the album a few times after it was over, then I started listening to Petey to amp up for this show. Because we had basically yesterday, and then the show was today. So I listened through a couple times, and when you were really excited about Petey about a year ago, right before the Grog Shop show, I was like, I like his comedy on Instagram, and the music's okay. And then I started listening to it again before this show, and I'm like, wow, like I really like this music. I mean, I'll Wait, I think, is a standout for me. I think that's my favorite song for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
Family of Six, something about the lyrics just resonate with me as well. So I got to listen to his music several times before the show, and I went in very excited to hear the live show, and I was not disappointed. I mean, he put on a great show. I mentioned this to you in the car. It was we actually just talked about it. It was about an hour. I thought maybe it should have been a little bit longer, but he only has 2 albums and a couple singles, so I mean that's probably about an hour and a half worth of music anyway. So it was probably the appropriate amount of songs and amount of time on further reflection of that. But yeah, I mean, I listened to the album a couple times beforehand, and I went tonight, and I was very happy that we went to the show.
Awesome. Yeah, I think if anyone likes the album, you can't not like the live show because it sounded pretty much spot on to me.
Right on.
It was very sonically consistent
the
to me.
Synth track, and I mean everything was very solid.
And I thought his vocals were they're what I've come to expect of Petey. That like it's very endearing mix of low talking, vulnerable, and then the screaming. It was great.
Yeah, and I think there's something to say too. Like we've been seeing and we've been excited about a lot of Chicago-based bands this past year, and it was cool to see him say a few things about an appreciation for Cleveland. I thought it was cool that he said it when he was driving around, like he saw the stadium and saw a few of the local sites. So I think that there's this connection between Chicago-based bands and Cleveland. Like I've always thought of Cleveland as Chicago's sort of little brother.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, there's a lot of commonality. There's a lot of tortured sports history. And we're both on the lake, Great Lakes, in the Midwest. So there's a lot of similarities. And I think that when people from Chicago come here, I think there's always a negative connotation about Cleveland, like off the cuff or somebody that hasn't been here. But once they come here, there's an appreciation. And I think the same thing for Cleveland is going to Chicago. I mean, it's the big brother. So you go to Chicago and your eyes are like huge, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is what a what a Midwest city should be.
Right. It's a Midwestern mecca. It's what a Cleveland strives to be. Yeah, I get what you mean.
So I think
There's not a direct rivalry in any way that wouldn't be dictated
I
by
wouldn't say so.
economically or sports teams or anything. It's just like a
different
kinsmanship.
divisions. Yeah, and I think that people from Chicago appreciate Cleveland, and there's a connection there. So, it's just kind of special, I think, in a way. I mean, I think that and Petey even said it, like he's looking forward to the next time he's going to be in Cleveland. Maybe he says that every show. I don't know. Hey, Toronto, can't wait till the next time I'm here.
I don't know. I mean, it says a lot to me that Petey did Grog Shop last year. We've talked about this a bit, but Bravo events and Live Nation, I get it a little bit mixed, but like they do most of the bookings for the venues like Mahal's and House of Blues, and they're national companies. To choose Grog Shop is a very deliberate show of respect to the history of that venue. And to understand the history of that venue is to understand the history of music in Cleveland.
I agree. I mean, there's a lot of bands that have been around a lot longer that give a lot of props to the Grog Shop and other smaller venues, Beachland Ballroom and things like that. But I wonder if it was a deliberate choice, or if it was more of, well, I guess you would have a choice between like Mahal's, Beachland, and Grog Shop. You'd be able to choose between those three because they're sort of at the same level, especially the old Mahal's and not the Roxy.
Right.
So they're similar sized rooms. So I suppose maybe it was a choice. Maybe it wasn't, though. I mean, maybe he's booking a tour kind of as a new artist and he's like, hey, I want to come to Cleveland. Who's available? Where can I go?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how that worked out.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But I don't know. But it has been pretty crazy. Like to go like from Grog Shop to
well, that Coachella
the national affiliated one
has to have done a lot for him. I mean, it has to have catapulted him to the next level.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, tons of people that were there.
We watched it on Hulu.
Right. Either you were there in person,
broadcasted.
Either you were there in person, seeing him for the first time, being like, "Oh, this is nice," or you were watching the live stream, like so many of us were, being like, "Oh, this is nice." So yeah, absolutely catapulted him. So he's just got great momentum going. It'll be really fun to have this same conversation the next time when he's rolling around through town and just see like where things are at for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, gosh, I love the guy. Wish the best and hope it keeps going in whatever direction he wants it to go. I don't know if like his goal is to like just keep scaling this thing up, or
I think he's along for the ride, right? Like, isn't that how any musician is? It's like, oh, holy crap, I made something that people love, and I can't wait to see where it takes me.
Yeah.
I mean, just hanging on as long as you can.
And connecting it to the last song, air quotes there, there's definitely a desire on his part, it would seem, to just have as much creative freedom as possible.
Sure.
And like the lyrics say, effing off takes money, effing off takes time.
It does.
And there, there's a part of him that probably begrudgingly accepts that you have to play the capitalist game if you want to have true freedom creatively or else. So yeah. But that wasn't the last song. They did I really enjoyed the way they teased the encore for this. I like it when any band does it. I know like not every band does encores, and that's fine.
Most do, but some don't.
I think it's a fun little thing that, especially if they can just make you even doubt it for just a second.
But you always know when the lights don't come on.
Yeah.
When the lights don't come on, stay in your spot. They're gonna come out for an encore.
But they did something very wise. They would tease turning the lights on. That was the whole thing.
Flicker them a couple times.
Which, like, your smart brain knows, like, I'm not falling for it. But there's a millisecond where it happens and you just react.
Like, oh no.
And you're like, huh? What? Huh? And they dragged it out for like,
yeah, they did.
You know, maybe like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
But then everyone comes back out and they play what I think most would think of as Petey's like premiere song, his number one song, "Don't Tell the Boys."
Yeah.
His ultimate sing-along.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so many quotable lyrics in that.
Fantastic lyrics.
Especially all those related to the show, The OC.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was...
I have to tell you, I never watched a single episode of that.
Oh, man. I only watched, I think... I know for sure Logan and my brother and I watched the first season, and we loved every second of it. I don't know if we watched the second season where Marissa effing dies. As the song goes. Because I feel like I'd remember that. Jeez.
Yeah. Dramatic, right?
She was a main character.
Or was it like a fake reality show?
No, neither. It was just a drama.
Oh, it was just a drama.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta rewatch that. That first season was dope.
You know what else was good about the OC was the introductory song. Yeah, who was Phantom Planet.
California,
Phantom Planet.
Here we come,
Man,
right back where we started from, California.
That was well in the emo genre for an opening title track.
Yeah,
Phantom Planet.
That was a great song. It was 04.
And it was a good enough song on its own without the OC too.
We were in the midst of third wave emo, so
yeah, true.
Shit like that was everywhere.
Yeah.
There I go, cussing again. Just can't help it.
This episode is no longer for the kids.
But yeah, it was a great show, and super happy to see Petey. Can't wait to see him again. I'll be wherever he goes in Cleveland next. I'm down to ride.
Yep.
Unlike others, I'm down to ride.
Yeah. Yeah, like who?
Sorry, cheap shot.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention before we go?
No, I mean, it's kind of crazy. We're mid-November. We're coming to the close of our season 1 shows.
We gotta start doing best of lists.
I know. We
of.
really need to start. I mean,
ooh, I'd be so psyched.
We were talking about like Chicago-based bands. I mean, we saw a lot this year. We saw Fall Out Boy. We saw Sincere Engineer. I got to see The Academy Is and Meet William, which that was super cool, like I've mentioned before. And then today we saw Petey. So that's...
We should probably clarify though, like he's originally from Chicago.
Well, yeah,
I don't know if his band members are Chicago
well, it
based.
doesn't matter.
He's LA based.
Petey is Petey, right? Like it's
I guess, like, but Sincere Engineer, like they're like living in that area. And
are they though? Like, do you know for sure that all the members of the band are from Chicago? I don't know that.
I guess I focus on the creative force of it, right? Like, is Gianna, is she?
Yeah, and it's all. I think it's influenced by being a Chicagoan.
Oh, for sure.
Chicagonite.
Yeah, I love anything with a Midwestern influence.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
of course.
So, yeah, so we'll have to do a couple best of, recap, and we have some concerts that we haven't done episodes for that we need to maybe recap and touch on a little bit and put it out there. We tried once and that did not go well. So
did we?
Yeah, we have some lost footage. Remember, we recorded a couple episodes after the fact.
Oh, yeah.
And you wouldn't even show me the footage. I didn't think it was that bad at the time. But you were like, no, these will never see the light of day.
But the lost episodes. No, keep it that way.
Yeah.
You got to keep some mystique for the listeners.
We need to get that out there. We need to do like a recap. I mean, a rapid fire of the shows that we did not talk about. Because there's several. There's quite a few that we didn't touch on.
There's a few, yeah. This is the Bouncing Souls one.
yeah. Which, I mean, really, Bouncing Souls and Anti-Flag.
But we were ahead of the curve.
Anti-Flag.
We were ahead of the curve.
I don't know if we want to talk about that show.
Because we would have ended up... We were ahead of the curve.
That was a good 3 months before any sort of allegations came out.
We're not Nostradinguses here. We're not bad. Pretty good foresight.
Yeah, I mean, if we would have known, we wouldn't have gone, obviously. But, yeah.
We didn't know.
We didn't know.
What? Did people go see Michael Jackson in the 80s? Like, you know,
People would go see Michael Jackson tomorrow. They don't care.
Yeah, you're damn right about that. But yeah, I'm super stoked about the idea of doing some best ofs.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
It would force you to actually reevaluate if you've actually liked any new music this year.
Oh, for sure I have.
I would love to do, best songs, best albums.
I mean, and then there's the other category of best new music and then best, like, rediscovered music, too.
And, like, not even just rediscovered, but, like...
Or just discovered, but it's also 10 years old.
Right, just, like, old discoveries.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that's such a fun one.
Music archaeology.
Yeah. Yeah, deep dive. And then the best sets.
Yeah.
The best or just best, like, songs, individually, live.
Yeah. We could do best of merch, best of stage presence, everything.
Yeah. We can maybe do what the show finally ever set up to do.
No.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Well, we have to keep things off the rails. I mean, that's essentially what we do, right?
That is the nature of the show. And if you
watch it, like, props to you. Like, thanks for hanging in there.
Don't ask us to defy our nature.
Because we do this, no cut, no edit. I press stop on this play button, and I upload it. We don't do anything.
I can't deny you do it in that order.
I love the DIY nature of what we do, though.
It's so punk.
Yeah.
We
need to level that out because we're also so much more corpo than we are punk. So this is one punk thing that we do.
You got to give us our one punk dub.
Yeah.
One punk dub. I like that. I like how that sounds.
Yeah, one punk dub.
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 One punk dub. That's all I wanted. That's all I've ever wanted was one punk dub.
Let's click stop on this BS. So if you liked any of that, maybe
I don't know why you would, but
reconsider your decision-making framework. But
go see Petey, though.
Definitely see Petey.
North Americans.
At least more than you see us.
Yeah.
And hell, if you want to see us again, that's great. We'd love you for it. We'll definitely hold a spot for you.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
If we can actually remember to hold our own spot.
Yeah. We failed today.
But thank you guys. Really appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Are we going to be able to reach over there?
I don't know. I'll get up and walk around here.
There's no way I could reach that. There's just, that looks like one punk dub.
One punk dub.